Sheila. She is great to chat with. So yeah, go ahead and hit record and we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, Sheila. Welcome. It's good to see your name again. Hopefully I get to see your smiley face. And Sheila, I had about 12 people sign up. And so we might even be seeing somebody else today, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So hopefully we'll get to see you and you get to there you are. It's so much better with faces. It really is. So glad to see you, Sheila. How you been? Awesome. Awesome.
I've been awesome. It's good to see you too, Nikki.
All right, all right. I was telling the gals here, so I'll get the chance to introduce you to everybody. And Rita, so good to see you as well. So Sheila, Gabby, Kristen, and Monique are the three ladies that the four of us together started Message Mindset. So I get to tell you all about Message Mindset. And I was just telling them how your husband was so helpful in creating your video for class. So that was just awesome. And Rita, really great to see you. Sheila, Rita is also a trainer of the CIG program, and we share a lot of information with each other. So it's really great to have these skills boost clinics are just as good for the interpreters as they are for the trainers as well. And we learn a lot from each other. So so great to have you all here today. And this is awesome. I put out about this session in the interpreters forum and in the trainers forum as well. And then last night I was like, oh gosh, I hope I don't get inundated with people. But at the same time, that's a good problem to have. But I'm also really happy it's a small group. So I welcome you all here and thank you all so much for the support, not only in what we're doing, but also for this topic as well. And so yeah, let's get started. Really some quick Maslows, of course, before we get started. First of all, is the Zoom Maslows. We are a small group, so feel free to leave your you can leave your microphones off or keep them on. Either way, if we're hearing a bunch of background noise, we might mute you. But otherwise, Zoom is getting really good at getting rid of that background noise. So you're welcome to have your microphones off if you'd like, and then just jump in anytime in the discussion. There are several times I'm going to be asking for us to have a discussion as we go through. I do have some slides as well, and we're going to be talking about that. And then we'll be done though in 45 minutes. And then, oh, good, we got another one. And then we'll have some time also for free discussion. If you want to stay after for a few minutes, we're available for that as well. So Maslow's, yeah, if you've been under a rock for the last few years, which I know all of you have not, I know all of you know this stuff about your Zoom screen, but I'm gonna repeat all this stuff anyway. Your dashboard is typically at default the bottom of your screen. So you'll have your mute buttons there, your video buttons there. Katie, I'm so glad you're with us today. Hopefully we get to see your smiley face. We talk a lot about interpretation. This type of interpretation that we do is personal interpretation, even if we are on a video screen. So having I'm going to arrive with my smiley face for sure. And it's so nice to see your smiling face too. As we are showing our faces to each other, that really helps us to build community. And so our Skills Boost Clinic fall right into that. We are a learning community with each other, not just today, but over a series as well. So hopefully you're able to join us more often in the series too. But it really gets us a chance to chat with each other. And you know, right before Sheila's face came on, it's a really awesome impact when we do have our faces on the screen and how much it brings us closer together. So thank you very much for being on the screen when you can. If you have to, you know, go off for a second, totally fine. You can come on back. So let's see. Yeah, that's the Zooms. We're going to be using the chat quite a bit today. You're welcome to write anything in the chat, but you're also welcome to just interrupt me and speak. You're also welcome. There's a little raised hand feature in the more section, which is the three little dots on the right hand side of your dashboard. So you can raise your hand. You can also do this. I can see that as well. That actually works a little bit better for me because I can see that really quick. So you're welcome to do those things as we go along. So let me tell you about Message Mindset and some of the great people we have in the room. I'm going to share my slideshow with you because it kind of goes along showing you some visuals with what we're talking about today. So where is that? There we are. Fantastic. So here's the four of us. And the four of us are on your screen. So hi, I'm Nikki Rohde. It's good to see you. I'm going to be introducing myself deeper in just a minute. But there's also Kristen Robinson, Monique Thompson, and Gabby Plumaso. And we came together knowing that we needed support for each other um, to talk about how we train, to talk about what's happening in interpretation, to help our students. We're all trainers. And so we came together, created this amazing website, thanks to Gabby and all her background information on how to create a website. So let's tell you a little bit more. Let's walk you through a little bit of the Message Mindset website because we are so excited about this. Here's our front page. So this is what you see when you click on. And, we are talking to people about heritage interpretation and we've all found out that that's quite a bit of jargon in our field. How do we say this better? If you're doing interpretation, content creation, being a tour guide, if you're a docent, there's so many words that correspond to what heritage interpretation does. And the word heritage interpretation sometimes kind of gets confused of like, what does that mean? Is it language interpretation? Well, it could be that, but it's really what we're talking about is we're talking about stuff. We bring stuff to people who don't know this stuff or want to learn more, right? So there's an immense amount of topics that we can cover um, when it comes to doing interpretation and when it comes to training about interpretation. So I'm so glad you're all here on this. Hopefully you'll check out our website. So some features of our website that we're really excited about as well. We have a learning hub, and this is what we're mainly promoting as well too. We are all CIG trainers, the four of us. So obviously that's kind of our backbone, I guess, on our website of the stuff that we create. And so there's, you'll see that earn your certificate. We're also developing, this is one of our online web events. We have some more web events that I'm going to be talking to you about. And then we're also in development, this is a really exciting part, of some asynchronous material as well, so you can learn at your own pace. And I know Kristen and I are both like on our little hamster wheels creating that kind of stuff, creating some really amazing stuff that we'll be seeing come out over time. So you're on our list. You'll get to see all that information when it comes out. We're really excited about that. And then we have some other features on our website too. We have a wonderful blog. We have some resources that we're building up. And then of course, there's a little information about us as well. We have some videos that we'll be posting. So we're really excited about what's going on our website. Let's talk a little bit about, that earned their certificate. So everybody here has their CIG certificate, and it's evergreen now, which is pretty awesome. We've got some classes, some CIG classes coming up. If you have some colleagues or friends that don't have their CIG yet, we've got, Kristen's got a class coming up on, I've got to move my film strip here so I can see. Kristen's got a class coming up August 20th to the 26th, and Monique's got a class coming up August 26th to the 30th. So those are some great options. Those are two different time zones. So just like mine, when I do my classes, it's imperative to look at the times, not just the dates of when those classes happen. So hopefully you can share those classes with friends. The price has gone up. The price increase happened on July 1st. So these are classes that are at the $600 mark. And we'll be seeing I think some interesting stuff coming out of NAI, also some extra products, that extra interpretive professional development products coming out in interpretation. So we're excited about seeing what's happening with that as well. So what else is happening? Let me promote a few other things that are going on. I've got to make sure I'm hitting the right. Oh, this one's really exciting. Okay, so Gabby is from Paris. Now, who doesn't want to go to Paris, right? So Gabby is developing an in-person CIG course out of Paris. It's going to be at least it's a 40-hour class instead of 32. And Monique and Kristen have the opportunity of going over there. I don't, because my husband's surgery is on September 4th. So I will not be able to come to that wonderful event. Hopefully I can be there online and maybe provide some content in that way. That's what I'm planning. But isn't that cool that we are a global network? NAI is North America, but there's many of interpretive organizations that partner with NAI around the world, and Gabby is really well connected with those for for Europe, for the Caribbean and Spain and South America. We're really excited to be connecting with a lot of those interpretive organizations around the world. So hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more classes like this all over the place. You know, that it's the travel part, of course, that's the expensive part, but otherwise, you know, it's what an amazing opportunity for sure. So wanted to promote that. If you happen to be in Paris at the time, come visit us for that one. All right. I also want to showcase Kristen. So all four of us that created Message Mindset, we all have our own little, you know, we're all our independent trainers, but we all have our own little things going on as well. And what we're doing on Message Mindset is promoting each other's trainings and promoting each other's courses that we have. So I'm really excited to offer this opportunity through Kristen. This is about using your vocal superpower. So how do we engage the audience with just our voice, you know, nothing we have to carry around. How and this is something I'm obviously talking too fast right now and probably mumbling. So this is I was thinking the other day, like, I really need to sign up for this. And I highly advise, if you're not already on Kristen's newsletter, is to join up. So that's Kristen's brand is Stage Naked. So hopefully you'll go and check out her brand. If you check out that registration link, you can get in touch with her brand and register for her newsletter and see that stuff fresh off the press. And you do get discounts being on that way. So highly, highly worth it to be part of Kristen's newsletter. All right. So that will be super, super fun. I wish I could rock that color lipstick. That is not me, but I could live vicariously through this graphic for sure. All right, let's see. And our next, okay, this is very exciting as well. So we do these skills boost clinics every month, and our next one coming up, it's always like the third Tuesday of the month. So next one is going to be August 20th, and Monique is leading that one for us, and it's going to be about connecting AI and interpretation. This is all the buzz of what's going on out there right now. This is so important. Of what are the ethics? What are the worries? How can we use this to make our jobs a little easier? I'm not quite sure which aspect of those, because those can all be their own sessions for sure. That Monique will be talking about. So we're getting really excited about what that'll look like. And that registration should be up on our website. So you're welcome to sign up for it right now during this program. I'll remind you again at the end as well. Those are free clinics to you, and really excited to be offering this, and really excited that all four of us are doing it, because it takes the weight off of us. You know, it's one person each time, and so it doesn't fall on us like, you know, a really heavy lift every time. And you can see that my other three co-founders are with me today. Look at the support that I'm getting from my other trainers, which is just makes my heart sing. So really, really happy about that. All right. So what's my next slide? Okay, now we're ready to get into the meat of this presentation. And I'm gonna, if I'm not seeing anything, by the way, come into the chat that's directed toward questions. Let me know. I think all these so far have been links to our site. So yes, just making sure on that. If something comes up in the chat and I don't see it, do let me know, because I've got pieces and parts all over my three screens I've got going on. So my session today, we're going to be talking about being personal with virtual interpretation. And let me tell you a little bit about how I came to do this. By the way, my name is Nikki Rohde. It's so nice to meet you. I see Gina in here. Welcome, Gina. Rita and Sheila, thank you. Welcome for being with us today. So I am coming to you from my home in Payson, Arizona. I wish that Payson actually looked like that. Our mountains are not that craggy in the background. It is still beautiful, piney part of Arizona. I'm at about the 5,000 foot level. So I am about an hour and a half northeast of Phoenix. So it's a little bit cooler, and I pay extra for that coolness. I'm only at about 100 degrees instead of 120. That's going on down in Phoenix. So I'm really happy to be in this cool air anyway. I started teaching CIG courses before the pandemic, but when the pandemic hit, I had this opportunity to go online and teach the courses, and I really got into it. That's my niche. I am just so excited about this opportunity to be reaching audiences that can't be there in person. Now, we love being there in person. We're going to talk about what that looks like and what the differences is between being on a virtual expression. But I absolutely love the opportunities that we have with virtual interpretation. And I do believe that this is going to be a skill in higher and higher demand. because it's getting easier and easier to do. Now, that doesn't mean it's easy. We're going to be talking about that today too, that it is an advanced level skill. But we have this, more and more of our agencies are relying on social media, on YouTube, on coming together through Zoom. So having this skill set and reaching more of an audience is becoming in higher and higher demand. And as we pursue our careers in interpretation, these are skill sets that I believe agencies are going to be asking for more and more. So we're going to talk about how to be personal with virtual interpretation. And I know at the beginning of the pandemic, NAI was like, no, that if you're doing something online, it's not personal. Well, I'm here to buck that myth and talk to you about how we can be more personal. And so I love this group of people coming together. Tim, I saw you join us. Thank you so much for being here with us today. You got in right before you got in after the housekeeping stuff and right in time for the session. So good for you. As we go along today, a reminder, I'll be asking questions as we go along. Feel free to raise your hand, either virtually or virtually. Yeah, raise your hand with the emoji or raise your hand in the film strip. I'll see it, or even just blurt out. That's the really easy way for me to know that you want to talk as well. And it's very interactive. We're actually going to be building, one of the things I have Gabby on today is we're going to be harvesting some of our thoughts today in a document that I'm going to share with you by the end of the session today. You'll get a link to that document. At that you can take with you to remember what we talked about today. Of course, you're welcome to take notes too. I'm an old school person. I love pencil and paper. It's all here in front of me too. So I'll be doing that at the same time. I am a certified interpretive guide. I'm also a certified interpretive guide trainer. I am a certified interpretive heritage interpreter, which is the CHI part. And I'm also a certified interpretive host trainer. And I'm also a certified parks and recreation professional as well. So try to keep up my professional development too. And I absolutely love giving professional development to adults who have a different learning structure and different learning mindset than kids in school do. You're all here by your own choice. So thank you very much for giving this some time today. All right. And again, I need to be on the right screen to go forward. There we go. Oh, here's me. So like I said, all of us here at Meshes Mindset, the 4 of us co-founders, all have our own brands as well. My brand is personal virtual interpretation. This is why I talk to everybody anymore about personal and virtual interpretation. I'm also going to do a session with Monique at the Interpretive Naturalist conference coming up, the virtual conference that they have coming up in August. I didn't make a slide for that, Monique. I should have done that. What a wonderful opportunity as well. So you'll see me there. I'm waving this banner for sure that virtual interpretation can be very personal. So this is my stuff, and I'll tell you how to get in touch with me as we go on today too. Okay, so my theme statement for today is being personal with virtual interpretation brings programs to those who can't be there in person. And more than that, virtual interpretation allows for experiences that are not even available to in-person audiences. That is a bold statement. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm really excited about those opportunities as well. How can we lean into the opportunities that virtual interpretation offers to us? How is that different than being in person? So the first thing I'm going to show you as we go along today is what is the different, what do I mean by that? I'm throwing around these words that I assume everybody knows what some of you, it might not. And there's a nuanced difference that didn't exist. Some of this terminology did not exist before 2020. So we're going to talk about what's the difference between virtual interpretation and in-person interpretation. So this is what we're really familiar with. When we talk about personal interpretation, we're talking about doing a program for people who are with you in real time, like they're actually, and in the same place. Remember how we always used to do that before we were on house arrest during COVID, before we were apart from each other. This is what personal interpretation meant, is that you were going to go to a place, or an interpreter was going to come to a place, maybe it went to an outreach center or a school trip or a festival. But typically you went somewhere. This is Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. It was one of the past jobs that I've had. And you took a tour with a docent or a staff member to get to know that place. So there was, you see all these people standing next to each other. They can literally bump elbows with each other, right? So there was that social aspect that happened in in-person programs where the docent or interpreter could ask a question and people could actually answer, and that docent could hear the answer, right? Other people in the group could hear what that answer was and they could respond to it in real time too. So there was a very big social aspect of being in person. Even if those parties didn't know each other, they got to know each other during the program. So I want to show you a couple other examples of in-person programming. Here's me doing a touch table at a festival. A lot of us interpreters have done these as well. Kids are coming up. We're playing a game together about wildlife. This is another job that I had in the past, and they are kind of leading the discussion. I'm leading the activity, but they are asking questions and finding out what we need to know. So there's a huge amount of interaction going back and forth between me as the interpreter and the audience of the kids, and then I also get some adults in the background. Inputting and making their, talking and being part of the action as well. So another example of in-person interpretation is roving interpretation. This is me at an NAI conference, and guess who that is? I got to meet Teddy Roosevelt. Yes. Okay, he's a reenactor. He's a reenactor. It was absolutely amazing. He travels the country being Teddy Roosevelt, and I got to see him about a month later doing a talk that was Teddy Roosevelt here in Arizona, because there's a dam named after Roosevelt. So it was pretty interesting. And he was just wandering around the NAI conference talking to people as Teddy Roosevelt. And what was funny is that after he gave the program in Arizona, I was in line to shake his hand and remind him that I had met him at the NAI conference. And in front of me was this man who said, "Hey, we went to high school together." And all of a sudden, Teddy Roosevelt was gone, and the guy who was portraying him was there, and I was like, "Oh, ruined." Here was this. He was so into it. The whole voice changed. The whole demeanor changed. It was amazing to see this. What he could project as an actor and as an interpreter and a living history reenactor was really, really amazing. So these are opportunities we have in person, is to with personal interpretation, is to have these personal interactions that are spontaneous, that are awkward at times, and that's okay too. But talk about fun, and they do create these amazing experiences. But you have to be present to have those in-person experiences, right? Okay, so 2020 comes along, and we are at most locations we can't get together. In fact, at a lot of agencies, the agencies actually fired or laid off their interpretive staff, or told their docents, "Hey, don't come in and volunteer. If there's no people, we don't need interpreters." But some agencies kept their interpretive staff, kept their volunteers, and said, "Our audience is still there, go find them," and went out online to connect to those audiences in a way that they hadn't been able to before. So let's look at this. We're going to take the 180-degree difference from in person and talk about a pre-recorded interpretive experience. So here's me talking about, I went on this wonderful trip to the Rhine River cruise, and I did a short video about it. And I put that on my YouTube channel, and it's an interpretive program. I have a theme statement, I have 3 sub themes, I have goals that I'm measuring, all the stuff that fits into interpretation. Now, YouTube, of course, was around before 2020. So it's part of our norm, right? We do a lot of stuff on YouTube. We might be looking at a how-to video, how to change the filter in your AC unit. That's something I just looked up. You might be looking up destinations that you want to see when you go somewhere, or you might be looking up some tips and tricks. Now, some of these YouTube videos are very interpretive. And of course, now that I've got the trained eye for interpretation, being a trainer, I am looking at every one of my YouTube videos going, is this interpretation? Is it not? I created a program that was specifically interpretation and tried to be very personal about it. So I get to share all that knowledge with you. So this is the standard thing you see when you go to YouTube and you're looking at a video, right? You are going to see a little bit about the information. We're all very familiar with how YouTube looks. You might even go to that YouTube channel Here's one of my favorite whiskeys, Lafroig, that I got to know when I went to Scotland, and their YouTube channel has some really great, very personal interpretive programs on their YouTube channel. And from here, I can pick out some different videos that I want to watch from them. Okay, so that's another way you might be finding pre-recorded interpretive videos. Another way is on social media. Many of us post YouTube videos on social media. Maybe it's from our brand. I do have a travel brand, so that's my other side as well. So here I am talking about RV cooking, and I posted that to my Facebook page so that all of my friends could see that information. So while you're scrolling Facebook, you've probably seen links to videos that were on YouTube. So that's another way you might come up with these pre-recorded experiences. Another thing you might see is going to visit somebody's website, and embedded on their website might be some videos. So this is the Arizona State Parks website, and they have many, many different state parks. And I picked one at random, Jerome, which is pretty close to where I grew up. And they had a video of this park. So that this is fantastic, right? For people who are thinking about visiting, and they might want to know, is it easy to walk around? Is it really hot? What does it kind of look like? Is this worth my time and effort? And so people can get on YouTube and see this a little bit beforehand and go, I think I'm interested. I think I'm going to go there. Or, well, that's not quite my thing. I'm not going to go there. So as interpreters, we know we have these opportunities. We're going to reach out to people who may or may not be able to be there. A person that has some mobility issues might be watching this going, can I walk around there? Do I need my walker? Do I need my cane? Do I need to have a lot of physical fitness to be able to walk around this site? And so watching videos like this will help get them prepared for their visit. So it's not just people who can't visit. It might be people who are just like preparing for their visit, right? All right. And one other option too, I'm sure actually there's probably a bunch of other options where we can see pre-recorded videos, is if we go to a location and maybe they have a visitor center, maybe they have a theater. So here's the Yosemite Theater, and they are playing an interpretive video about Yosemite Park and what some background information that you can get. Maybe the person who's there that day, maybe they don't have time for a ranger-led talk. Maybe there isn't a ranger available and they want to know a little bit more before they start their day. So we might see recorded programs in the visitor center, the amphitheater as well. So those are some ways that we're already connecting with pre-recorded videos. Awesome, thank you. Okay, so let's take a break from this because I think the next part, we're going to come back to this after we have our discussion. So I'm going to turn this off so we can see each other's faces and say hi. Hello. Awesome. Gina, I don't think we've met yet, so I'm very happy that you're here. Thank you for being here. Love that beach background. Right on. Okay. So first of all, a show of hands, I'm going to ask some really easy questions first. Who has led an interpretive program in person? That's what I figured. I figured everybody here is, because you all have this background. We're most of you are certified interpretive guides. There's a couple of you I don't know personally, so I don't know if you are or not. Hopefully you are. But you've led a program. You've probably seen an in-person program, been present at an in-person program, right? As the audience, maybe your coworker, maybe it's the first time, maybe you started doing interpretation and went, oh, I've been to many of these types of programs. Yeah, I get it. Got it. Awesome. Thank you, Katie, for your thumbs up. All right, so let me ask you the next question. Who has watched a program on YouTube? This is an easy one. Everybody, yeah, I bet everybody's got their hand up as well. This is so much a norm of what we do anymore. We might be sitting there in the evening with our spouse. Hey, do you know how to fix the such and such? Or hey, I'm thinking about redoing the countertops. I wonder what we have to do to make that happen. Or hey, wouldn't it be cool to go to this mountain or take this trail? I wonder how difficult that is. Let's Google it, right? That's a standard thing that we do. Oh, we'll Google it. We'll find out more information. And we can read articles. The articles in the websites will come up, right? But it's those videos that are really, really helping us, aren't they? We get a lot more information very quickly. We get a guide to help us out. We get a person like us that's doing this. And it's really, for me, it's really, really helpful to see somebody else in that place or doing that thing. So I go, ah, yeah, I'm like them. I can do that. Okay, so next question. This one's a little bit harder. Who has created a YouTube video? Okay, I wanted to see where we're at with this. Fantastic. Thank you so much. My goal is to help make you feel more confident so that you can get to the point of putting some material out there. Um, Also, so that you can start, this is the main thing though, so that you can start looking at YouTube videos, those are pre-recorded experiences that you can go, why is that good? Why is that interpretation? I know interpretation. So if you look at it through that lens, what's helpful about this? And what can I do in mine? Can I do that same thing? Do I rock that? I don't know. Let's see. We do the same things when we're at interpretive programs, right? When we're the guest at an in-person program, we are also, because we're trained in interpretation, we're looking at those experiences. We're looking at that interpreter going, that's a really cool engagement strategy. I want to do that. I wonder if I can. I wonder if I can do that at my place. So we already have the brain for that. Let's put our brain to that for virtual programs as well. So I was telling you the difference between what an in-person program is, being there in real time, real space, and we have a wonderful interaction with the interpreter. Pre-recorded experiences is an interpreter creating this experience, knowing that no audience is right there with them, knowing that there's going to be a gap in time before that audience even watches that video. We don't know how many people are going to be watching it. We don't know when they're going to be watching it. And so, but we also, because we don't have them there right in front of us, we're not playing off of them, right? We can't ask them a question and get an answer because they're going to be watching it later over the video. Sure, they can add comments in the chat, right? When they can add comments in the comment section, but it's not while you're creating this experience. So there's a gap in time between when the interpreter is making the program and when the audience is watching the program. Because of that gap, we used to call these experiences non-personal. But like I said, I'm here to buck that myth. We're going to be talking about how to make those interactions personable, how to make it more of an experience so that when we're doing these programs, people will look at this going, ah, there's a person I can relate to. So relating is going to be a big deal. Right? So let's compare those two formats. And that's the only one I'm going to talk about today. I want to do a whole nother session on interacting over Zoom like we're doing now, but that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about a pre-recorded program that there's that gap of time between when the interpreter does it and when the audience sees it. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. But let's talk about the differences in how audiences behave between in-person programs and pre-recorded programs. So one of the things I've already mentioned to you is that an in-person program, people are able to bump their elbows with each other, right? Kind of a weird, awkward experience. But we've met friends that way, haven't we? We create this social experience out of that bumping elbows. I wrote about this in the blog. That's on our Message Mindset website. So here's a chance for some feedback from all of you. What kind of behaviors do audiences do when they're in person with you?
They answer out loud,
They answer out loud. Exactly.
like I'm doing now.
Thank you, Monique. You see how Zoom is a completely different beast, right? It's not quite in person. It's not quite pre-recorded. So Gina, yes, facial expressions. And when our audience is using facial expressions, the interpreters can kind of read off of that and do something different. They're seeing smiles, like, oh, it builds up the energy, doesn't it? Thank you, Gina. Showcasing the smile right there. Katie, they don't struggle with the mute button, right? They can just answer. Katie, I'm going to give you a second. Hopefully you can chime in.
Oh yeah, just in the fact of, oh, I see you talking. You're muted. Muted. You're still muted.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Katie.
there you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the other thing that's interesting that happens with in-person programs too is people can talk at the same time and actually listen to each other at the same time. And in Zoom, you can't do that. Obviously, it doesn't even happen in a pre-recorded program at all. If you're talking and a pre-recorded program is going on, the other person in the room is going, shut up, I want to listen, right? When you're watching a movie, your spouse is going, no commentary, I want to watch the movie, right? So with pre-recorded, we can't talk at the same time either. Oh my goodness. All right, some other ones, some other behaviors our audiences have when we're in person. Kristen, I see your hand up. Oh, and Rita, actually, I'm going to get back to you and just, so Kristen, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, all right. I was going to say we sidebar, and that can be, certainly I'm distracted squirrel, or it could be I'm meaning making, and it's a quick aside with somebody who I'm with.
Absolutely. I love how you called it a sidebar. I call it in parentheses, but I think sidebar is better. Yes, we can have an aside and come back to it. We can use our body language to do it too. Rita, I saw your hand up. I'm so sorry I didn't see it before. Oh, you're good. Okay, well, come back again. Rita always has an amazing amount of wisdom. Sheila, I see your hand up too.
Yeah, just to kind of carry off of what Kristen was saying, you could look at somebody that's with you, or maybe someone you were chatting with prior to the program, and kind of like, did you see that? Like, wow, like just to make a quick connection.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Cool. I'm going to get to Katie has a wonderful idea. Katie, I'm going to take that idea and talk about that in just a minute. Thank you. All right. You know what else I've noticed with in-person audiences? If you say your program is 10, and Sheila knows this one, I talk about this a lot in class. If you say your program's 10 minutes long and you are still talking at the 45-minute mark, they are still listening. They will miss their plane. They will miss their lunch date. Because it's socially unacceptable to go, I know you're in the middle, but I'm going to walk. Some audiences do that. They can walk off. But they will hang out. They will continue to hang out. And I'm realizing this is an engaging conversation. So let's also look at behaviors of people on pre-recorded videos. So think of yourself watching a YouTube video. How often have you been interested in the video, watching the video, and then you're like, oh, gotta go watch a cat video, gotta do the dishes. You could be totally into the topic and still like do something you hate. Right? What other things have you noticed about yourself when you're watching a YouTube video? Yes, Tim, very important. You can pause and rewind. Absolutely. You can't do that in real life, can you? What else can you do on YouTube?
You can yell at them.
You can yell at the screen. You absolutely can. We do this all the time with sports, right? Oh, stupid ump, or why didn't you go that way instead?
Can stop in the middle of it and go to another one if you feel like it's not
Absolutely.
answering your question.
Absolutely. Like, this video is no good. I'm going to go on to something else. You can hold on to it for a long time too. I don't know how many YouTube videos I've got in my tabs right now that are just sitting there on pop. We can't do that with in person. Yes, we can go to the bathroom. We can have a snack. We can come back to it later. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's take that and crunch into it a little bit more. I'm going to, when I was thinking about how to talk to you guys about all the stuff about virtual interpretation, I really wanted to focus first on tips you could use. So let's look at that. Let's look at some tips you can use today when you're thinking about doing virtual programs. Let's look at ones that you can only do. Which one are we going to start in? Yeah, let's look at ones, since we're talking about this, things that you can only do when you're doing a pre-recorded program. And we're starting to talk about this already, is we can allow them to pause and rewind. We can show them things for a really short amount of time and knowing that they can come back to it. And in fact, we can give them an extra opportunity beforehand. Hey, I'm about to show you a QR code. It's only going to be on the screen for about 5 seconds, right? If we were in person, we'd have to hold up that QR code for a good, I don't know, my arm's going to get tired, easily 10 minutes or more. And it's just a thin little piece of paper, but your arm sure gets tired holding up that QR code, right? Hopefully you have it on a sign, but you can allow them to pause. You can ask them to watch a scene. I had a student in one of my classes that was panning through very nice and slowly on a beautiful field of wildflowers, and asked people to pause as the video was panning to see different things on the screen. Wasn't that beautiful? I wanted to put that on my TV and watch it really big. So we know that they can do that. So Tim, that was an excellent suggestion. We can ask them, we can pause and rewind. So knowing that, as the person creating the video, we can ask them to pause and rewind too. And when we set up chapters, it makes it super easy. When somebody in our in-person programs go, can you repeat what you said 2 minutes ago? You're like, what was it I said 2 minutes ago? Right? Let's see some other ones that we can do. We can switch from scene to scene. Isn't that awesome? When we are let's say we're talking about wonderful food, we can go to the farm, and then 10 seconds later, 20 seconds later, a minute later, we can go to the grocery store. A minute later, we can go to the house and prepare that food, and a minute later, we can be at the potluck serving that food. We cannot do that in person, right? We can't go from planting a seed and watching that seed being placed in the ground to eating it in 10 seconds worth of time, right? It takes months. So our pre-recorded programs have this option of compressing time and space. We can go to different locations. One of my students talked about how the fog moves inland from San Francisco Bay, how Carl the Fog moves in, and what happens at each of those steps. In person, she would have to have a van and everybody would have to get loaded up. We're talking a whole day adventure, which is fun, but it limits who can be there. Costs more, takes more time, right? We can do this as a pre-recorded program really fast. So we can jolt up time and space. We can recreate time and space. What about seasons? I wanted to see what kind of seasons I would be experiencing when I went to a specific place. When I went to Scotland recently, I couldn't do the whole year there. I was going to do 10 days, right? So I needed to know what the seasons were going to be, which time of year did I want to go. If you come up with other ideas, feel free to bring them in. We're gonna make a whole list of these. I'm walking through some of them. Some of them might give you some ideas. You can put words on the screen. You can put some graphics on the screen. Want to share some pictures? As we are doing in-person programs, you can bring pictures, but boy, you might be 10, 15 feet away. People who are visually impaired, or in the back, if it's a large group, have a hard time seeing that, or you need like a big screen, that projector, all that, so that's possible to do. But on a pre-recorded experience, it's very easy to show people, very easy to do slides, show intricacies of things, things that are really small, right? Katie, on the museum side, one great benefit for virtual interpretation is being able to interpret items too small to interpret in a group setting. Absolutely, that we can see stuff on that minuscule scale and make it much bigger and point out different things. Absolutely, wonderful. So here's another one too about being personal, is that you can place yourself virtually anywhere. So while I create my YouTube videos on Canva has this wonderful option, I think a lot of other platforms for creating videos also have this option. You can place yourself, I can remove my background just like I'm doing here with Zoom actually, and place yourself on the screen that the video that you already have, as if you're in that place. And we're going to be talking about this a little bit with AI, I think, as well, but we can place ourselves anywhere, even if people haven't been. So, doesn't that bring up, we need to think critically about these videos as well and go, are they really there? Are they actually experiencing this? We come from that, us interpreters, we come from a place of truth, right? So we're always wanting to let people know the information that we're giving is truthful. But we can be anywhere, which is pretty amazing. We can also, I think this was shared earlier, is yeah, Katie, you shared this earlier about we can share links without derailing the conversation, and we were able to do that in our Zoom. We're able to do this on our pre-recorded videos as well. That's nicer on Zoom because you can actually click, put in the chat, and people can click, right? On YouTube, we're still relying on QR codes or the description for putting those. But the cool thing is that we can interrupt our YouTube program, our pre-recorded program, or include in our pre-recorded program how people can engage in that material. If we're with them in person, first of all, is the Wi-Fi even going to work, especially when we're out these beautiful places that are way out of range? But also it takes away from the experience that we're having with that in person. And I'm sure many of us have experienced this. And when we ask people in our in-person programs, hey, look this up or download this app, we've lost them to also their emails, their text messages, and other things that they could be doing on their phone, looking like they're participating in what's going on. So our online programs have that opportunity to delve into online resources, which are really, really helpful. And the last one that I had on my list was, we're recording it for a pre-recorded program, so we can record the best experiences. We can record really interesting things that happen. We can record the best day. If we can't get there that day, if we're feeling ill, our audience is not disappointed because we can just come back the next day, right? For in-person experiences, we can't do that. We can't just record the best stuff, right? We are going to make mistakes in front of in-person experiences. So this is where I start to blend what happens between the two experiences. And I've got to wrap us up, but I wanted to bring up a couple ways that we can be personable during our pre-recorded. One is to allow ourselves to be us. You know, in person, we make mistakes and we move on, right? We just keep going. We apologize and then we move on. On our pre-recorded, we don't have to only record the best part. We can record us being us. Maybe there's some awkward moments. There are also tender and intimate moments too. So that's totally okay. We don't have to be great actors to create, and we don't have to be amazing, charismatic personalities to create wonderful videos. We can be ourselves. Let's see, we can also give rhetorical questions. I think I've done that a couple times in this program already. Give questions for people to ponder. One of our main things is in interpretation is being thought-provoking, right? We are forced to be thought-provoking in pre-recorded experiences. Hopefully we're doing it in person also. But in pre-recorded experiences, we're not just giving them wows. We are asking them to remember that stuff and to think about it. So it's even more important that we're thought-provoking so that people walk away from our programs, from our virtual programs going, yes, I'm still thinking about this. We can also be we and us. And that's one of the, I've been using those pronouns the whole time we've been together. People are coming to your interpretive video because they have something in common with what you're talking about. So we can leverage that by going, hey, we have this common mutual understanding. That's why we are here. And that transcends place, right? That transcends time, which is really amazing. But it helps to make us it helps to make a group. So it makes it really personable. And then we also have that chance to make the unfamiliar familiar. We do this in interpretation all the time. In our pre-recorded programs, we have more, just the same and even more opportunity for doing that, looking closely at things, and coming together on this information, sharing that info. Okay, so yes, I've got to wrap it up. Thank you, Gabby, for sending me that reminder. I want to show you really quick. I'm just going to point out, and then I'm going to close it up formally. You're welcome to hang out. We're here till the top of the hour, so you're welcome to ask more questions. I've given a fire hose of information. That's how I work, I guess. So I wanted to tell you a little bit more. I am available at personalvirtualinterpretation@gmail.com and my website as well. I am representing Message Mindset today, so I'm part of that group of 4 from Message Mindset. We're so excited about continuing our Skills Boost Clinic. They've had a wonderful reception. Our next Skills Boost Clinic is August 20th with Monique. She's going to be talking about connecting AI and interpretation, a really trending topic right now. And we are so happy that you've been with us today. Thank you so much. With that kind of formally ends the program. So we're going to go ahead and we can turn off the recording now. And I would love to hear some of your thoughts as to what you hope to do with this information. So